What happens when solving a murder means digging up the truth about an entire town? Welcome to Lone Star.
And now, our feature presentation.
Fussy, who hired this crew?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong.
Show me the money!
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I thought this was good.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of 52/1996, the live movie conversation podcast where we take a look back 30 years ago and dig into the films of 1996, one movie at a time. I'm your host, Cody, and this week I'm joined once again by my co-host, Ryan, as we break down the movie Lone Star. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome in. We are happy to have you, however you are participating, whether it's live or after the fact on Spotify or YouTube or any of those things. The idea is pretty simple. Every week for 52 weeks, we revisit a different movie from the year 1996. We talk about scenes and lines and performances and trivia, and if this is something that we'd want to watch again. And we are doing a new theme this month, as I do kind of every month, and it's just simply called Cody's Choice, because I wanted to, and I couldn't figure out where to put any of these movies. So I said, I'll just pick some of my favorites and we'll put them in here because I can. But before we start talking about Lone Star in depth, let's talk to Ryan and see how he initially felt about Lone Star. If you've ever... So Ryan, welcome in. Thank you.
Hi, Cody.
Hi. Have you ever seen Lone Star before?
This is the first time I've ever watched Lone Star. It's on a bunch of movie lists of mine. So I've seen the name, but I never looked at a description or anything. So it was basically a mystery. The name didn't even draw me into something to learn about. So it's kind of crazy that I was alive during this movie. I know a lot of 90s movies. I'm a movie nerd, and I've never come across Lone Star before very much at all. So it was a brand new experience.
Yeah, it's kind of same for me too. This is my second time going through this movie, and I think a couple of years ago I had a night where, as I often do, where I just have my you and I had started this years ago, where we were trying to go through 1,001 movies to see before you die, just because I think you, like me, like lists and like things to, just accomplishing things on lists. And this was always one that we talked about, the list anyway. And I think one night randomly, I just hit shuffle and was like, whatever the first thing is that pops up, I'm going to seek it out and find it. And it came up Lone Star, and I said, sure, I'll give it a try. I didn't really, at this point, have any idea about John Sayles or any of the movies that John Sayles is associated with, even though I had seen, I guess, one at this point. Didn't really realize that.
We covered one on the podcast.
We did cover one on the podcast, but growing, I never knew anything about John Sayles. He's not like a name that sticks out even among like independent movie lovers and things like that. Like, it's just not one that you see too often. But 8 Men Out, I feel like you like 8 Men Out, right?
I've never seen 8 Men Out, but I know of it. I know that's about the Black Sox, the White Sox scandal.
Yeah, and that's the only movie growing up that I had ever seen that was a John Sayles movie. Really great baseball movie. I would highly recommend it. It's very good. But yeah, other than the one that we watched 2 years ago, which is The Secret of Roan Inish, which is completely different from what we're talking about today, which is like a family Irish fantasy film.
Well, it's looking back on the Roan Inish too, because we covered that in a bonus podcast with like 3 other like kind of kids movies, I think. So we were, if I remember correctly, I was we were a little confused, but overall won over and very charmed by The Secret of Roan Inish. And then now that I see how this guy made Lone Star, I can look back and be like, okay, that was on purpose. This guy knows how to create a mood and to do and he does things that are interesting and unique. So it wasn't a kid's movie that just had a weird vibe or happened to luck into being very fascinating. It was actually on purpose. That movie was probably very magical and labyrinthine and even unsettling at times, but ultimately pretty beautiful movie, I think.
And shares very like similar themes to Roan Inish, surprisingly. I mean, they both deal with family and secrets that have been kept from the family, and don't go there, don't go digging up the past in this movie. Very similar.
You're allowed to be borders, and we'll talk about borders a lot in the Lone Star discussion.
Yep. And then his filmography is really interesting. Like I recently watched one that I think you would also enjoy called Matewan, which stars Chris Cooper as well, and is about the coal strikes in the 20s and the 30s. I
love that. I want to see that immediately. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Chris Cooper is incredible. I really like him, and I'm excited to talk about him.
It's funny because he's about to be in a year or two. He's about to be in October Sky as a coal miner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love October Sky.
I loved it as a kid. It's probably pretty cheesy now, but I liked it a lot.
Man, that movie's great. Just looking back at some of his other some of the other things that he did before John Sayles, we've talked about this recently, is also comes from music video directing. He directed 3 music videos for Bruce Springsteen. He was pretty much known as a writer before any of this. He was making movies, and for every movie that he does write, direct, and edit most of them. There are only a few that he did not edit himself, which is still super impressive.
That makes sense because this movie, Lone Star, is not too long in my opinion, but it is edited like the person who wrote and directed it is edited. Because you're going to get longer movies if you let other people, edit their own things. So.
Yeah, he early on in his career, he wrote a lot of scary movies, Piranha, Alligator, The Haunting, or The Howling, movies like that. He also wrote The Clan of the Cave Bear. He's uncredited, actually. I didn't put this in my fun facts for Apollo 13, but he is an uncredited writer in Apollo 13. And then a movie that I actually watched within the last several years is a movie about John Dillinger called The Lady in Red. It is, I know it's on a list of Tarantino's favorite movies. Of course, it's pulpy and silly, but that movie's great. Lady in Red is really good. Came out in 1979. So I like John Sayles. All that to say, from what I've seen of him, I really enjoy him. I think he's a interesting guy. I would love to dive into more of his movies and actually learn a little bit more about him. But I'm glad. I was very excited to have you watch this movie, force you to watch this movie, and just say, hey, you're going to watch this one for me. Because and then I was really excited on Saturday to get your text that was like, hey, this movie, I like this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to play coy about it. This is the best movie I've seen in a year, and I've seen a couple hundred movies in the past year. This movie was amazing to me, and I was buzzing on it all day yesterday. I was telling everybody I knew about it. I was so happy, and I didn't know anything about it, and I did start watching it cold. And my girlfriend watched it with me, and I was like, I think it might be horror. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's just in Texas. That's all I know about it. Let's watch it. So I was very cold on it, and just every single scene I was engaged with, every character I liked, and then the themes just unfold on top of themselves with layers and layers of the same kind of vibe. It's almost musical and how it's making its point over and over again. I can't say enough good things about Lone Star.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you didn't watch a trailer for it, because I just recently bought the Criterion disc for it, and I watched the trailer for it, and the trailer is bizarre for how they marketed this movie. It plays it like it is a straight, almost comedy.
Well, I think I only wrote one WTF moment down, but I'll just spoil it now. The poster is insane.
Yeah,
if you go to Wikipedia, the poster is a skull coming out of a sheriff's badge. And that's why I was like, I know it's in Texas. I think it might be a horror movie, but maybe a murder mystery. And because I was kind of going off the poster where I was like, oof, here we go. It looks like Oh, I can't. Yeah, it looks like From Dusk Till Dawn or something.
Yeah. And then there's another like poster out of there that's probably done post McConaughey becoming who he is, and like he is a main guy on the poster of this, and like Chris Cooper's kind of in the corner, and
That's
Elizabeth
funny.
Pena is kind of in the corner, and it's just like this menacing looking McConaughey versus like Chris Christopherson. So, it's funny in that way. And then we're like, we don't even know that there are black characters in this movie at all, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on in this movie. I watched it with Alyssa last night, and she ended up liking this movie a lot. She might have had some issues with the ending, but
I'll defend the ending. I'm ready.
I loved it. I loved the ending. I was like waiting on the edge of my seat. I was like, please, I cannot wait.
Because the movie was so rich and there were so many twists unfolding that when the final twist hit, I was like, I didn't think you had anything left in the tank, Lone Star. That's crazy.
But it worked. It's not like, oh yeah, we'll get into it. Let's talk about the ending. So let's learn a little bit more about it, just in case you didn't get a chance to see this movie. It's called Lone Star. It came out June 21st, 1996. It was directed, written by John Sayles, edited by John Sayles. The cast includes Chris Cooper as Sheriff Sam Deeds, Elizabeth Pena as Pilar Cruz, Chris Christopherson as Sheriff Charlie Wade, Clifton James as Mayor Hollis Pogue, Jeff Monahan as young Hollis Pogue, Miriam Colon as Mercedes Cruz, Joe Morton as Colonel Delmore Del Payne, Ron Canada as Otis Payne, Matthew McConaughey in here as Sheriff Buddy Deeds, and Frances McDormand in here as Bunny. I can't wait to talk about Bunny. The synopsis. So if you did not get a chance to watch it, in the Texas border town of Frontera, Sheriff Sam Deeds digs up the past when he finds an old skull in the desert. As he traces the murder of Sheriff Charlie Wade 40 years earlier, Deeds' investigation points toward his late father, the much-loved Deputy Buddy Deeds. Ignoring warnings not to delve any deeper, Sam rekindles a romance with his high school sweetheart while bringing up old tensions in the town and exposing secrets long put to rest. Now, this movie had a very small budget, as Sayles likes to do, somewhere in the middle of $3 to $5 million here, and it had a box office return of $13 million. Well-received movie. This movie was on a lot of best of lists in 96. Ebert had it on his best of. Siskel had it on his best of. For the night, I think Ebert even had it on his list of best movies of the 90s, period. Rotten Tomatoes has this 91%, IMDb 7.4 out of 10, and Letterboxd a 3.9 out of 5. Ebert said John Sayles' Lone Star contains so many riches, it humbles ordinary movies, and yet they aren't thrown before us to dazzle and impress. It is only later, thinking about the film, that we appreciate the full reach of its material. I've seen it twice, and after the second viewing, I began to realize how deeply, how subtly the film has been constructed.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, 4 out of 4. And then Hal Henson did not like this of the Washington Post. He said it's carefully crafted, unapologetically literary accomplishment, and for many, this fact alone will enough to recommend it. So why then does it feel so lifeless? Interesting. This movie was nominated for an Academy Award, only one though. It was nominated for several Spirit Awards, but it did get nominated for Best Screenplay at the Oscars. It did not win. But Elizabeth Pena does get a Best Supporting Actress award at the Independent Spirit Awards for this. Yes. And then I think Chris Cooper and Sayles both got nominated at that as well. So a little bit of a legacy, but I do feel like this movie is not talked about ever.
Yeah, it's maybe on its like cycle of in the public sphere. It's like on a downswing or something, but like I think it's relevant. I don't think it's dated in a way that in any way that means it's not compelling now. Every single character and issue in it, some of it's prescient. So it's like the background stuff of building too many jails, and tearing down everything else is like still very prescient to our relevant to our country. So yeah, I don't know. It's got to be rediscovered and beloved again soon. It is a hidden gem, but it wasn't hidden at one time. So yeah,
right.
It's kind of not being talked about enough.
I wonder if you and I talk about the Academy and like the 90s and the Academy Awards doesn't always get things right, but they obviously give us like a vision of what's going on at that time. And we often talk about the 90s being like the obvious choices are the ones that are getting nominated.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, like, especially in this year, where, this movie does give off like Coen vibes, even if we haven't gotten to the Coen, like, I know Fargo comes out this year.
I wasn't 10 minutes in, and I was like, man, some of these lines and some of these shots just feel very Coen Brothers.
Very Coen Brothers. And I wonder if the Academy's just like, we got too much Coen here, so we're gonna say.
Same year as Fargo. So I mean, the Coens are still coming up. I'll bring up, like, this movie helps me explain why One Battle After Another fell flat to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I liked that movie.
Yeah.
And everybody liked that movie. But I didn't like it as much as everybody else did, and it's hard to articulate it. It's because that movie, I think, is trying to give the same messages, or some of them, as this one. And instead, it falls short of being eloquent enough to give those messages, or too scared to be slow enough to give those messages. So it turns into a bit more of a Guy Ritchie, like, kind of like trying to tell this story. That doesn't make it a bad movie, but that's why I was like, does everybody around me think One Battle After Another is very deep or like politically astute? Because it's pretty shallow in those terms for me, but it's just got good acting and a lot of fun things in it,
I agree. And I couldn't help but think of One Battle After Another after this, especially with a lot of like the border politics and racism and racism just in our country today. And that's a lot of One Battle After Another. But yeah, I felt like this script is tighter and like sews things up in a much neater, like ties things up in a much neater bow than One Battle After Another. But I did come away having a similar feeling.
Yeah.
And I really like One Battle After Another. I do like that. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, but I do think it's a successful one. But yes, I couldn't help but think of the parallels in these two movies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now I'm thinking of the other one that's actually very similar to Lone Star. It's like 2 years earlier in Texas. And there's a sheriff. It's very popular. I'll look into it.
Okay. I'm like, now I'm going down to my. Nope, it's not. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have One Battle After Another as one of my pairings, but it's I did think about that last night. Eddington. I haven't seen Eddington.
Oh, okay. It's got similar themes to this too, but also that's a movie that starts out like it's going to be in a small Texas town, I believe, like 3 or 4 different like perspectives on what the town should be, start very sophisticated way, or like kind of revolving around each other with different needs. And then the director doesn't know what to do. So the last hour, it's like, okay, it's just a bunch of gunfights now.
Yeah. And that's one thing that both One Battle and Eddington I haven't seen. The one thing this movie does not really do is give you like lean into like loud action scenes or gunfighting or anything like that. It is a very quiet movie. The whole
and you know what? Like, we're talking about the posters too. I wonder if like it's a smart move. Like this, you could show this to like people who are trying to be independent directors but still need like studio backing. Like, you can pitch this movie in an elevator, in a boardroom, on a poster, in a trailer, as a Western, as a noir, as like a murder mystery and stuff like that. And it is all those things. And so like you get to slide under the radar and make the movie you want about themes. And then there's just enough of this other stuff to distract people from like you actually making good art, and they say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. Cause there's really only 2 scenes where a gun is even fired. Like,
yeah, but the tension is real. It is a good noir.
Yes. Very, very good. In like a neo-Western genre, which the Coen brothers do very well. So let's talk about the scenes in this movie. I had honestly, I had a little bit of trouble with this because there aren't big flashy scenes that are super memorable. There's a lot of flashback, not even a lot of flashbacks. There's just good character scenes, I guess. So I'd be interested in what you came.
Slightly negative review you read, he used the word literary, and this movie you have to pay attention to or watch a second time. Like I could piece together everything that happened, but I had to sit there and think about it. Wait, so this happened, and this is what's going on. That's how they're connected. So that way back when meant this now. It doesn't spoon feed you. It's not impossibly difficult. It's not dense or blurry. It's just yeah, if you miss just a couple little lines, you won't know all the, you know, connections that are being made. So that makes it like hard to pick out one scene because they're all like equally giving you a little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. Definitely a good movie to watch again a second time and really pick up on those scenes and those lines and everything. But what would you have down first as like your first scene that sticks out?
The scene that sets the movie off is the first flashback. Chris Cooper talking to the mayor, and you seen Chris Christopherson and Matthew McConaughey for the first time in the past, and setting up Chris Cooper's dad, maybe who everybody loves, but who he has some, you know, the family beef with, you know, maybe isn't such a good guy, and he's the new sheriff, so he's got to find out the truth. So that flashback scene's scene one for me.
Yeah, and McConaughey, like a couple of the reviews I read online were talking about, oh my God, McConaughey does so much in the two scenes that he's in. And I'm like, he's fine. I'm not trying to hate on McConaughey, but he's not doing anything like crazy here. Honestly, he comes off a little evil in that first scene. Like Charlie Wade is obviously the real evil character, but like, it doesn't, he doesn't come off sympathetic.
Because there's this question the whole time is he or isn't he a good guy? So he needs to be ambiguous in that first scene. But yeah, and also I do think in the drive-in scene later, which is like the third scene he's in, he's bad. He's a bad actor in that scene, but it's such a small, quick one that's not important. He just has to yell at his son, but he seems really evil in that one because he really is like treating his teenage son like he's you know,
like a criminal.
Yeah, like a real criminal or whatever.
And you don't even get any like. It's interesting you brought up that scene because he never refers to him as like he doesn't treat him like a son in that at all.
Yeah.
It is all business in that moment. And this kid just mouthing off to him, but I never got the sense in that scene that they had a father-son relationship at all.
And for a long time in this movie, I was confused about why there wasn't more flashbacks with Matthew McConaughey in it. It makes sense by the end, and I understand it by the end. But for a while, I was just kind of like, okay, but he's like the important guy. Like I'm going to be learning. This is what's going to happen. And this first scene sets it up like you're going to keep getting flashbacks that reveal more and more of Matthew McConaughey's character, and you really don't.
No, I forgot how little he is in this movie.
Very little, yeah.
He has like 6 lines total in this whole thing. But I mean, he's in the background, like he's in the back of our mind the entire time. You hear it through everybody. Buddy Deeds is a saint. Your mother's a saint. Buddy Deeds is the best of Texas, you know?
Yeah, right. And that's what you want too. This looming, because that's how Chris Cooper feels. This looming character that he doesn't fully understand, has never fully understood because he hasn't talked to him since he was 18 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that all starts with this first scene in the confrontation with Chris Christopherson.
And I like I think Chris Christopherson's doing a good job in this.
Oh yeah,
he is a bastard.
He's a way better actor than he is a musician and songwriter.
Hey,
have you ever seen A Star Is Born? He's good in that.
Yeah, my dad loves Chris Christopherson.
Really?
Yeah, he loves all the Highwaymen guys that Johnny Cash and Waylon and all those guys. So he loves Chris Christopherson.
No, I mean I love Waylon and Johnny Cash, but Chris is the worst out of those three.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah, not the best. So we get this first confrontation. We get this flashback. This is the first instance when we see the flashbacks and how they're going to be doing the flashbacks in these. So when we're learning about this, it is Chris Cooper asking his dad's former partner and the mayor of the town more about his dad. And then it just does these like it just pans up and there's not like a strict cut that you would typically see in a flashback in a movie. And I really like that part of the filmmaking in this. I think it works really well. I like it. I prefer it in 2 other parts of this movie, the flashback and how they did it.
Yeah, the live segue, I think is what it's called, or something like that. Well, and it also it's done very well, and it's very charming. It also like speaks to the themes because throughout all of these characters, they're constantly saying it, and the script finds so many clever ways for people to just say the thesis of the movie all over and over again. But they're actually like talking about snakes. They're talking about fish.
Yeah.
They're talking about actual borders. They're talking about what side of town you live on. But but the whole theme is that we have these like lines drawn around who we are and who quote unquote they are, and we find ourselves very angry and upset about the lines and who the other people are, and the lines are fake, and we're all part of the same family. Literally.
And like, I don't even, it's sad because like listing out the scenes and everything, I don't even go into some of the like other important part, like the Colonel's family dynamic with the bar.
Yeah, it's hard, 'cause none of those scenes are the best. Yeah, it's really good. It's very compelling, and it speaks to all the themes as well. Real quick, the end of my point, the live segue thing shows, hey, look, the present and the past, there's no real line between it. Like you can put the camera down here, and all of a sudden you're in the past without breaking the shot.
Yeah,
and so like that connection, it's really cool to see like direction become literary again, you know.
And it's easy to do in a small town where things don't change a lot. So it makes a lot more sense to do those live segues there because, like nothing changes. The Mexican restaurant's been the same since it was there. The bridge is still there that they transport undocumented immigrants across the line. Like it's very easy to do those transitions when nothing changes in that small town and everybody's pretty much the same as they always were.
Yeah, I absolutely. And I think I agree with Chad. This would be a good TV show.
Yeah.
It would give more time because this movie's long and there's a lot of characters and I wanted more of all of them. Like I wanted to see more of all of them. So as much as they were about Coen brothers, I also thought this is a lot like the Fargo TV show. Those that as an anthology series, the best of the Fargo TV show is kind of reveals all of these connections slowly through different people. And has them mirror each other's lives in surprising ways. That just good. It reminds me of a spirograph, you know, where you make the little patterns or whatever. It kind of has that rhythm to it, and this movie does too.
Yeah, I don't. Speaking of like the Fargo series, this one is a long. Like this is a interesting pull here, but because of the military base and the race part of this, the most recent show on HBO that has to do with the It movies. Welcome to Derry. There is an aspect of that is dealing with racism and this army base and all these men that are going to find their own little bar in town that is specifically for them. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
And I don't know much about it. I know you know a lot about it and have seen them all and read it. But like the town, I think one of the things that makes it so successful, despite being like a killer clown movie, is like the town of Derry is so uniquely a character unto itself, right? Yes. Like you feel this place Derry as a face. So this town is a little more nameless, faceless, like in every town, you know, kind of on the Texas border town, but it has that feeling. It feels lived in.
And it's one of those, this movie, you know, we both lived in the South and you still live in the South. And like, we've heard about people from Texas and they're very proud of their state, just like people from Ohio are very proud of their state and won't shut the fuck up about it. I never feel like in this movie that people really love where they're from in this. Like there are a couple characters that I feel like are very like, like we're from Texas and this is the best of us and all this stuff. But I feel like everybody else is just trying to get by in this small town and don't give a shit about how cool we are and how special we are, except for the white people, like in that the Board of Education meeting.
And I wonder if border towns are like that because they are so transitory by their nature. They're so contentious by their nature. The second you try to say this is what my town's about, there's somebody next to you who says that's not what this town's about. This town's about this opposite thing, you know. And they're both right, and so it's hard to even like put your feet down in them and say this is, you know, draw a circle around and say this is my home.
It's an interesting, this is not like a place that I am very familiar with, even like a border town like this, especially a place where they're like, it's like 90% Hispanic, and
which is funny because the cast is not.
No, not at all. We
literally say like 9 out of every 10 people in this town is a Mexican, you know, or you know, is of Mexican descent, and they're like, okay, but the cast is like 1 out of 10.
Except for the mom, she's Spanish. She's not.
She's Spanish. That's so funny. Yeah.
And like on the second watch, it's just bringing that piece up about the Spanish thing. Like I understand that a lot more now. and
Yeah.
why, and like even her daughter being like, hey, we're gonna go down to Mexico, you want to come with us, and her being like, no, I don't
Yeah.
want to go. Like there's enough, like I see you, the Mexicans everywhere, I don't need to see
Yeah.
our heritage, that's not my heritage, kind of thing. And
She's a really interesting character as somebody you feel for but hate at times, and struggle to understand, but then get some understanding, and then you respect her a lot. Yeah, she's fascinating. Senora Cruz.
Yeah, Senora Cruz. English, Enrique. English. We're in America.
But that's again one of those lines that could go if you're not paying attention. If you're like, scratching your butt for 2 seconds, you'll kind of miss that revealing thing where her daughter Pilar is like, I'm Spanish, but actually you have to also understand that Hernan Cortez was Spanish and that he was like conquistador, and that what she's talking about is, we're not really Spanish. We're indigenous and Spanish mixed, like, most people in Central South America. But my mom puts on airs and is trying to separate herself from the more poverty-stricken background she has.
Yeah, I love that line that Pilar says when she is bringing up the Spanish heritage thing. She's like, yeah, we go all the way back to Cortez. They passed us as we were like kneeling in our huts, cooking hamsters
for dinner.
Yeah, over the fire. And I think that's such like very funny, clever line there.
Well, then right after that, she's like, I don't have time to date or whatever. They're like, and someone's like, you work too hard. And she goes, that's how you get to be Spanish,
It's good. So what's your next scene that you have written down? Because I mean,
there's some introductions. There's the murder at Otis's bar, but then you get to meet Otis a little bit there. You get to meet Pilar and know that she's a single mom, and that she had this romantic high school thing with the main character, Chris Cooper. But they haven't spoken since high school. And then the next big one, I think, is the flashback with Otis. As a kid, and Chris Christopherson, which is really well done. It's pure evil incarnate, lots of tension.
Yeah. Like him moving the glass over as he's pouring it, and he's like, oh,
it's very Tarantino, the way that movie, like that scene is slow, but you just have this dread build and build and build.
Yeah. And it pays, and again, there's, it is something that you're like, oh, this is just the show that this man is super evil and everything, but it pays off later in the movie when we get our big reveal over the killers and of this sheriff, and it all kind of escalates to this moment that we get at the end. So I really, yes, the scene's full of tension, and you're scared the whole time. You can even tell the deputy who ends up being the mayor of this town is like scared the whole time. Is kind of trying to pull off. He's like, it's okay. Like, I drink mine from a bottle. I don't need it. In the glass,
right.
Kind of thing. Like he's trying to tiptoe around Chris Christopherson's character.
But clearly too scared to stand up to him.
Yeah.
And the movie's doing a slow but good job at not just saying, well, of course, Matthew McConaughey, because that first scene or whatever, murdered, the bad sheriff, Chris Christopherson, Sheriff Wade. It's setting up, at least 2 other possibilities or whatever. Well, I guess only one other. I will say I called the murder mystery like
early
15. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't 100% on it. I was like, it's going to be that guy because it doesn't seem like that guy now. And he was clearly around. So
yeah.
And then by the end, I was like, yeah, when the final scene happens and you kind of see, I was like, oh, I can just tell. I can tell I'm right. It's coming.
Yeah.
Which didn't take away from it for me, but I called it.
Yeah. It's such a weird mystery because you think that you are supposed to be like, it's hardly a mystery that we think we're needing to be solved. It's really just Sam being like, I know my dad killed this guy and I just need to prove that he did, because that way it gives me more ammo to hate him because he's a murderer.
Yes. And as an audience, I think that's how you're supposed to feel, is because it feels like everybody's saying, yeah, your dad killed this guy. But like the guy really deserved it and was going to kill him, and everybody was better and happier off afterwards. So like, why do you care now that everybody's dead? Like, and Chris Cooper is hiding behind some moral, like, nope, murder's murder. That's, and kind of hiding behind that, but really wants to hurt his dad in the memory of his dad. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, murder is a murder. Like, if everybody's, if he's right about his dad, he has a right to know. And if he's a lawman now, he gets to say, like, hey, put it on the record. That motherfucker was a murderer, So you have confusing feelings about that, which is more prevalent through most of the movie than the actual mystery of who killed Wade.
Yeah. Anything else from that scene?
No, next after that, they that's when you start to see a little more of the Delmore family, which is Otis's adult son, and then his son and wife who are moving to town so he could be an army commander. He's a colonel. I don't know what he's there to do, to train a unit, maybe.
Yeah, he's just there, and they're like the background of this movie. They're talking about shutting down that base in the first place, but for some reason, he gets a command there. You go where he says, if they give you a command, you go there.
Yeah, they say they'll be there at least 2 or 3 years. So he seems very uptight, very serious, very army man. While Otis, has grown up in a bar, owns a bar. And you find out that they haven't talked since they were kids either, much like Matthew McConaughey and his dad before his death. And then you have this grandson who's kind of curious about his grandfather. But yeah, they're forced to go back to this home. We'll be there for a few years. And their stuff does become more of a side story, but every bit of it could be its own movie. If it was expanded into just a movie about that family, I think I would watch it and like it a lot.
Yeah. Just a lot of parental generational trauma that we're just sifting through, and this whole murder mystery thing that happens. Everybody hates their parents in this movie.
Everybody's stuck in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Can't move on. Yeah.
Very much so. But I like that kid. I like their family dynamic. I like the army people. Like, there's that little even side story of the black and white military people that are gonna get married.
Those guys are great. The two buddies, and then one of them's dating a third officer there. They're awesome too. I love them. And then there's the side story of the private who tests positive for a drug test, and that's interesting. And there's a whole conversation in this movie about what it means to serve in the army and how you should feel about it, which leaves an open-ended question about it, but is better written than entire movies that are written about that subject.
It's great.
It's impeccable in this movie.
It's so good. I keep rolling back to these scenes in the movie. I'm like, oh yeah, that plays into this thing that happens here, and it's so good.
That's why we're having such a hard time to talk about it in a line, because it is like a recursive drawing. Every line folds back in on itself.
Yeah. The next thing that I had was the flashback of Eladio Cruz.
Huge scene,
yeah, big scene. One of our other gunshots in this movie, where we find out that Pilar's dad is this guy Eladio Cruz, and Eladio Cruz was a mule, and transporting undocumented immigrants across the border. And Charlie,
I think that now Pilar's mother, Senora Cruz, hates and is annoyed by, and is actually literally calling Border Patrol on people sneaking across the river herself. So, but yeah, apparently her husband, or dead husband, is somebody who used to do that.
And we get this scene where Charlie Wade, who lets things slide by as long as he gets cut in on it. And when you're going down his road into his town and you're not getting any of the benefits from letting these people come into the country, he doesn't like that. And he does this thing that will come back up where he's like, oh, you got a weapon on you, as he stops Eladio Cruz on the side. He's like, yeah, I've got a shotgun, for protection, for people. And he's like, oh, why don't you get that out of there? And as soon as he puts his hands on the gun, he puts a bullet in the back of the guy's head and kills him. So again, just more evil Charlie Wade, but it also gives us the setup of how he likes to murder people.
Yes. Now that you need the scene to cross into the line that this guy is a force of violence, not just evil bullying or corruption, but murderous person that needs to be stopped. And it's, which then that makes the audience more comfortable with the idea that Buddy killed him, because you're like, yeah, this guy's got to get killed. Or thrown in jail, right?
And then we get we get a little bit more information about this Eladio Cruz, and when he died, and our main character Sam is putting all this information together, and it's not, we don't know it at the time. It's not really adding up to him about this person or Pilar's dad and the timeline that she has for her existence, I guess. Right. So,
because the way this movie could be confusing, there's a scene much earlier where Pilar is talking to her mother, and one of the few scenes maybe the only scene where they actually talk to each other in the movie,
in the kitchen.
And then there's a lot of family past that's being dug up in the middle of the kitchen. That's well, you said this about my boyfriend, and you wouldn't let me date these people, and you don't really know that all that matters very much at the time. And then you have to like kind of remember it to connect these things together later on and be like, for who Pilar was dating, and she's talking about her father, and why her mother never fell in love with anybody else after him is like a thing they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
And she thinks that she wouldn't let her date this Anglo boy, and that was the only reason. We don't.
But I didn't even pick up that he was a white boy. I thought it was not a white boy that he wasn't allowed to date. And then she was like, and you also wouldn't let me like date white boys. And she was like, but then she says at some point, not that one. I don't care if you dated white boys. And she's like, that's not what you told me at the time, but okay.
Yeah, just not that one.
Yeah.
I love that little, like, there are some really comical moments in this movie, whether it's line readings by different people in the town, but like when Pilar and her mother are having that fight in the kitchen, and then she like her mom storms out of the kitchen or whatever, yelling at workers to get back to work or whatever it is, and the lady goes, "That's your mom?" And she says, "Lo siento."
Who was Madre?
Very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Eladio Cruz scene is a pretty big one. This is when Sam is kind of crossing the border to get more details about, Charlie Wade, and who else would want to kill Charlie Wade? Who would have reasons to kill him? So
the section's not important, but I don't know where else to bring it out. So you get like a little slow like montage of sequences after this. And this is where Pilar and Sam reconnect. And they end up sleeping together. But before they do, at some point, well, I guess the flashback. Oh, we got to talk about the flashback a little bit. You get a flashback of Sam and Pilar as teenagers dating at the drive-thru and making out at the drive-in movie. And then Sam's dad comes and rips him out of that car and, says, go take Pilar home to his deputy, who's still the mayor, the guy who becomes the mayor eventually. Tell her mother what's going on, and he runs his son away because they're dating. And I don't know, maybe led to believe that it's because of race mixing, or just that they're hard asses or whatever. But there's that scene. So then you see Chris Cooper at the abandoned drive-thru, remembering that. He kind of drives around town. Then there's a scene in the diner where him and Pilar meet again, and they rekindle their relationship. And I just want to say that scene in the diner is the only like beautifully shot thing in this movie.
It's so pretty. Yes.
So pretty. And when she slowly walks out of focus to the jukebox and her silhouette's lit up by the jukebox, but it's his face turned away from the camera watching her walk away. It is I rewound it. I was like, this is the prettiest thing I've seen put the film in a long time.
I love the reverse of it.
Movie.
I love the reverse of it, because then you get to see Pilar at the jukebox lit up by the talking about the like my mom hasn't changed this in years, whatever. And then he's out of focus in the background, but you still see him sitting down. And then it leads into them dancing, of course. But yes, those two shots, I was like, damn.
They blew me away. And this movie is well directed, and it's like segues and how it frames things, but it is not a movie. Like Sayles doesn't feel like he's trying to make beautiful shots in any part of this movie, except all of a sudden in the middle, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love it.
And I wonder, maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not intentional. Who knows with some directors and what they're trying to do. I follow tens of accounts online that tell me this is why they blocked the scene this way and do everything. And I'm like, I don't know if this is bullshit or if they were just like, this is the only way I can get the camera and these people in this shot kind of thing. But maybe because that is like one of the softest moments in the movie, we get this rekindling of their romance. It is these very pretty shots in a desolate town that we don't get a lot of beauty out of. So I don't know if it's
I think you could take one of those shots and put it in a picture frame. I would hang it on my wall and love it.
Hell yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
All right. No, well, Merry Christmas. That was actually the next scene that I had, was dancing at the restaurant, and then we get them having sex at his house. I guess
only sex scene in his career.
Yeah, Chris Cooper's.
I thought it was interesting. It's like, man, Chris Cooper is a romantic lead. Like, he's not a good-looking man, but I could understand women being into him, but it's not who you cast as a romantic lead.
I did wonder. I meant to ask Alyssa about that, and maybe you asked Sage. Like, is he attractive? Or like,
I almost asked Sage, and I just didn't get around to it. I wonder what you would say.
Like, he's kind of got these like slits for eyes, and like I don't know. He's
like an amazing actor.
Oh God,
he gets cast in all these things that aren't like they're not soft and they're not romantic. He's either sad or evil, you know, in his movies.
You know who he reminds me of? Sam Shepard. Like him and Sam Shepard give me the same like vibe.
Well, when we get to it, I thought that it would be easy to recast him, and it was the hardest one. I don't think I even did it for one of the years because I was like, I just can't find anybody. I was spending way too much time scrolling through the list of actors trying to find somebody with a Chris Cooper vibe, and I was like, whatever, nobody can do it. It's just got to be him.
It's Sam Shepard is the only other person I would put in there.
Yeah.
You watched something recent, Right Stuff? Did you watch the Right Stuff this year?
No,
You've seen it
that's
before.
the astronaut movie.
Yeah, the astronaut movie.
I'm not sure I've ever seen it. Although it feels like I have. Who knows?
Days of Heaven. He's in Days of Heaven. That's another one that I've watched recently. Sam Shepard, anyway. But yeah, kind of similar vibes. Southern guy, like will never act as. It's kind of like a Tommy Lee Jones in that way. Like I'll never act my way out of the accent that I already have. Like I can't. I'm never changing this for anybody.
Spoilers for that. I think the only thing I finally just settled on writing down Bill Paxton in '96 because he's at least like Southern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say I like that. Bill Paxton, Sam Shepard, I'll put Tommy Lee Jones in here.
We can put Dennis Quaid in here.
Oh, Dennis Quaid. He might be too good looking.
Yeah, maybe. The thing is Chris Cooper is an amazing actor, and he's all over this movie. He's in like so many scenes. He's the person you see the most by far. And he's an amazing actor, but he doesn't need to do much in this movie.
No.
So he's not doing his best acting because he's not supposed to act out. He's supposed to just be kind of this sad ghost who wanders, like witnesses all these things, you know?
And he's not limited. I think some of Chris Cooper's best roles, like that Matewan movie that I was talking about, it's very quiet role there. But like October Sky, he's a lot harsher, a little bit rougher around the edge. The Patriot, like thinking of some of those movies from the past that we have. Like he's a little bit rougher and angrier in those movies than what we get here. And I like this like even in American Beauty, he's kind of a hard ass in American Beauty, but he's very quiet in that movie.
Horse Whisperer is another one. I think he's kind of quiet and stuff. Yeah.
I love him. I'm in.
He's an amazing actor, absolutely. And he's about to go on a tear with all of those movies. Adaptation, American Beauty, like it's about to be every year is going to be a Chris Cooper masterpiece, and he's never gone away. He's still in lots of stuff that's amazing.
And I forgot we already talked about another Matthew McConaughey, Chris Cooper movie this year with The Time to Kill. Yeah, he's good in that one movie too, with his one leg and forgiving.
And he's a dead dog. Makes me cry just thinking about it. I love that line.
Now imagine she's white. What's the next scene that
you know your dad, right? Now imagine he's
white.
All right. That's how the movie ends.
That's it. I love it.
Oh man. All right, where are we at? Oh, a really great scene between Otis and his grandson.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of talking about the themes of the movie too. He's collecting these artifacts from Black Seminole people in the past, and talks to him about like him being part Native and how like, oh, your dad still hates me. Well, guess what? You're gonna hate your dad too. Like it doesn't go away. Like you have to figure it out, or it's just gonna stay there forever. But who you are in your blood is only what you'll like let it be, or whatever is a great line. It was just a great scene.
Yeah. I actually also like the scene where his dad ends up going to the house to talk to Otis and like talks to his new wife, and she's like, oh yeah, this is the room, and here's like, I like the way that it plays out, and obviously it's her intention of like, oh yeah, check it out, he's really into this Black Seminole thing. And then of course there's like the shrine of her son, his Otis's son, and all the things that he's done, and he learns that his dad actually cared and just kept up with him. Followed his career.
But respected the distance, the border that he put up or whatever. And in this movie, other than Chris Christopherson, like you walk away liking everybody, which is also the theme of the movie. You find all of these like questionable decisions and differences between people, and and people who you may like more than other people or whatever, but nobody is purely evil. It's a thing Otis says. It's not like there's a border between what's good and who's good and who's bad. Everybody's both, and so by the end of it, like you just kind of get to see everybody be badass. So the fact that like the wife, who's such a small character, like it owns her scene so bigly with the way that she's like a self-assured person who's not scared of family drama coming around. Is not scared of anything. Like understands what's going on and is warm and inviting. Like she's a small character, and you get to feel her as a whole person in her life and how she got to fall in love with Otis.
And she knows Otis, and like she knows Otis, and she knows Otis's past in there. She's like, oh yeah, I'm, there's been many before me, kind of thing. Like I'm not the I'm not I'm just not the flavor of the week, but I'm the one that ended up with him.
Yeah, right.
At this time in his life, kind of thing. So I like that about her. She has a good scene, or no, that's the scene I was thinking about. And then I was thinking about the other woman who used to own the bar. I love her scene with Chris Cooper.
Oh, yeah, with the Game Boy.
Yeah, the Game Boy.
That was amazing.
I bet she's a badass at Tetris.
I want her to be my neighbor. I want to hang out with her.
She's probably so good at Tetris. I would love to know what she's playing. She's probably playing like Mortal Kombat 2 on there.
Yeah. On her Game Boy?
On her Game Boy. I played Mortal Kombat 2 on my Game Boy.
I didn't know that was a Game Boy release. That's bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
It had to be ugly.
It was great. What's your next scene?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good little scenes here. Wesley Birdsong. You see Delmore come around a little bit. Then Bunny, maybe.
Oh, Bunny, a good scene.
Also, like you see Frances McDormand in the opening credits, and it's like 2 hours in. It's really easy to forget she's supposed to be in this movie. I just kept waiting. When is she going to happen? And then she really happens.
And then it like takes me a second to realize, like, why are we here? Like,
yes,
when we
that
first
was
got there,
part of the movie because Sage had picked up him saying that he was married for a while and he used to work for his father-in-law, but I didn't pick that up. So I was like, oh, I have no idea why we're here. And then I was like, well, who was her father then? Is it the mayor? I thought it was the mayor for a minute. And I think, Sage said like, no, I think it's just some person you don't see. And he used to work for him.
Yeah. I think this person, I think this is in Houston. He drives a lot.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Oilers gear.
Well, it's so freaking like, that's one thing that is unique, like not unique about Bunny, but like I was
Cowboys jersey, right?
Yeah. She's wearing a Cowboys jersey and a Oilers hat. And I'm just like, okay, she's definitely got some problems.
Oh yeah.
Well, she also
gets medicated real fast in Texas.
Yeah, no. And she says that somebody runs a 40-yard dash in 3.3 seconds, which is impossible. Like nobody's ever done that before. But I'm just like, I think this scene in the wrong hands is a bad scene, in a crazy scene. But I think she handles it pretty well
because of her. Honestly, I think you could edit it out of this movie and be very okay. But I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad I got to see it because she's doing a weirdly comic, manic like role, and it's just crushing a lot of lines in like a few minutes, and then disappears again out of the movie.
And I really like Chris Cooper in this scene too because his character is very sweet and the whole time never says anything. Like you look like he never says anything about her medication or like he might mention it, but like. She's like, oh, is it because of my medication? He's like, no, I just think you look real good. Yeah, he's very sweet in this and very patient. I like this scene.
Yeah. He's pretty good in this movie. He gets to do some cowboy shit where he gets to like use few words and be like, well, like he's like it's not in the movie, but it's like, well, looks like I'm gonna have to go talk to Bunny. He's got like a lot of lines like that.
Yeah. Apparently, and I learned this in the fun facts, like some of the way that he stands in the movie is modeled after like the way that like John Wayne would stand in his movie.
Yeah, there was an old odor actor who I didn't recognize and didn't look up.
Harry Carey.
Oh, it's Harry Carey. That's right.
Yeah, Harry Carey. Yeah.
And apparently, because I actually clocked when he first sees Pilar and helps her out, get her son out of jail. I was like, why is he standing like that? That's so weird.
Alyssa said the same thing.
Really sweet and vulnerable, but almost feminine too. And he feels kind of feminine in this movie. But despite wearing the sheriff, whatever, but he just kind of like he slinks around a little bit.
Yeah,
very cat-like.
I think I think he's fantastic. There is another little scene that I wanted to mention is the scene between him and I think his deputy, who they want to run as sheriff the next time.
Yeah,
I like that scene a lot, and he's just like, you know what, you're gonna run for sheriff, great. I mean, it makes sense, like to do this.
That scene is very cowboy, where it's just unflappable, unconcerned, unhurt, and just like giving people what they need from him in as few words as possible and moving along, but not with any hatred or anger or anxiety. He's being a real cowboy in that scene too.
And I love the way that scene ends too, with him being like, "Hey, how do you feel about opening up a new jail?" And he's like, "Well, that's a difficult topic to get." He's like, "You're going to do really good as sheriff of this town."
All right, that's a funny line.
I love the way that scene ends, but love that. The last thing I have is the big final well, not the final reveal, but the killing scene.
There's a bunch of reveals. I think that's the next big scene. I think before that there is the whole sequence where Senora Cruz's employee is trying to get people across the river. A girl hurts her leg, and the only place that he can bring her is to Senora Cruz's house. And then you get the reveal that despite hating illegal crossings now, that when she was young, that's when you finally get revealed that Eladio was her husband.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I don't think it's actually said before that.
Well, she says Eladio Cruz is my dad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He does get that after the flashback of Eladio Cruz dying.
Mm-hmm.
He asks her who her dad is, and she goes, "Oh, it's Eladio Cruz."
Yeah, but you see her kind of. I was expecting one little scene where she she does drive them away to get help or whatever, and becomes a little warmer in that moment as she looks at this young girl who hurt her leg crossing the river, and remembers that she was once a young, scared girl crossing the same river.
Yeah. Also, she lives right on that river and sees them cross all the time.
It's an amazing house, but they're just there's strangers running through her backyard constantly.
She is border patrol at that. She is an ICE agent just waiting.
But yeah, then the big scene that plays out like a Blood Simple scene, like a very classic Western small town bar noir vibes, where you get the flashback, the reveal of what actually happened that night all those years ago, where Sheriff Wade and Deputy Hollis, after being challenged by Matthew McConaughey, they show up at Otis's. They find young Otis, not owning the bar yet, but just being a teenager, running an illegal game, not cutting in Wade. He gets his face kicked in a while, and now Deputy Hollis recognizes the signs that he's about to shoot this kid. Mm-hmm. And instead of doing nothing about it like he did before, right as Matthew McConaughey shows up, it is actually Deputy Hollis, who is now the mayor, who shot Wade in the back to save Otis's life.
Yeah.
And the three of them decide the best thing to do is to bury that body in the desert.
Charlie Wade! That's what he shouts when he walks in.
Yeah. It feels like because of the way it's Matthew McConaughey was shot in this movie, that he doesn't really know the whole script.
No, I agree. I don't think he did know.
He just read his scenes and then saw the movie and was like, wait, what?
I just screamed Charlie Wade and walk in? Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Nailed it.
Yeah. That's all I know.
So it plays out that what is his name? Not Otis. You just said it. Hollis Pogue is the man that shoots him, and they scheme this up. The $10,000 that Charlie Wade had on him goes to the widow of Eladio Cruz, which is Senora Cruz, Pilar's mother, and that's when things start getting put together. That
at one point, Chris Cooper also learns that his dad had a mistress, and he's a little bit like, "Aha! I knew he was a douchebag," but he doesn't know who it was yet. And he finds out the mistress. This is where he finds out that he has his connection with Senora Cruz, which leads us to our last scene at the drive-in, where he reveals to Pilar that he's been fucking, that they're half siblings.
Hey, we're brother and sister.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, I can't get." Immediately, she's like, "I can't get pregnant anymore."
Oh, she didn't sweat it too much.
No, they don't. Both of them don't. And he's like, "Hey, if I met you for the first time today, I'd still want to be with you." So
yeah,
so brother sister love.
Mm-hmm.
They're half sister brother. So
yeah, they're half siblings. It's half cest.
it's half cest.
Yeah,
I like co-incest. That's what.
Well, this is good. I was going to go with Texest. I'm glad I went something different.
So yeah, this movie ends up being a love story
between two siblings. Yeah, but I mean, it's still a very powerful. Again, like I said, this movie's giving gifts all over the place throughout, and especially at the end, giving gifts. And then at the end, you're like, all right, well, finally it's all over. What a great movie, last scene or whatever. And then it's like, oh, by the way, they got another twist. And
Yeah.
it's mind blowing. I didn't see it coming at all. In that point, like I hadn't, because the movie is kind of confusing. It doesn't spell things out for you. So until he says the line, yeah, this is a picture of my dad and your mom. He says, you know, he gave her the $10,000, and until he says the line, he paid for your delivery hospital bills. I was like, whoa, that's when I found out. I did not put it together until that moment.
Alyssa's watching with me and just like hand forward goes, what? Like, what? So it was fun. It was a fun watch.
Again, the theme of the movie, we're all a little closer to each other than we think.
That's right. No borders between brother and sister.
Yeah. And then an amazing final line, because throughout this, in the background, there's always people talking throughout this whole movie about the history of Texas, when it was Mexico, when it was Spain, when it was the Lone Star Republic, when it was U.S., where the borders were, who fought on what side, all of that stuff. And then there's a pretty amazing last line as they look at the decaying drive-in screen where she says, forget the Alamo instead of remember the Alamo. Like, you know, throw the past in the past. You can only look forward. Fuck your brother.
Brother fuckers. Who's your favorite character in this movie? Or is there somebody that stole some scenes for you?
My favorite character, well, my scene stealer might have been like Frances McDormand. My favorite character is Minnie Bledsoe, who plays the Game Boy on her porch.
I actually like Hollis Pogue in the older version of it.
He's really sweet.
I think he's good. That scene with him on the boat where he's got his pants rolled up and he's talking about, I love that scene. I think he is so good in that.
I'll always be thankful for my partner's weird taste in men and like scruffy people in general. But when she saw that scene and she saw him sitting in that boat, she goes, "Oh, I love him."
That's Richard Dreyfuss's dad. Oh,
yeah, right.
Oh man, no, and of course I love Sam, but he is like he's not the fun character in this movie at all.
He's the Bugs Bunny complex. He's the Luke Skywalker. Everything revolves around him, but he doesn't get to be the coolest one.
No, not at all. Any quotes or lines from this movie that stick with you?
Yeah, I think the script is amazing. I do want to go back and say, speaking to that like negative review, that person called the movie a little lifeless. I do think part of the direction, and it may be a flaw, is the acting is very like stilted. It's very stagey. And maybe that's because the script is kind of literary in the way it's written. But I think the acting on all characters is like not very naturalistic at all. But there are a lot of lines, and it does feel like they're reading like a book as much as a script. Let's see what we got. Oh, here's a funny line. When the deputy and Sam are talking, he says, "Well, I'm working on a few things. I'm going to go over to the other side." And the deputy says, "Republicans?" And he goes, "No, Mexico."
I love those lines in this movie. There's another one by the bartender where he's like, "I'm as liberal as the next guy," and Sam Dean says, "If the next guy's a redneck."
Yeah, you're talking about Cody.
Cody, yeah. Cody the bartender. He has a great little monologue.
Yeah, he really does, and he's one of the guys who kind of speaks to the themes out loud. We talked a little bit about the grandkid says, "So I'm part Indian," and Otis says, "By blood you are, but blood only means what you let it."
In that same scene with the bartender, he points over to the mixed couple. They're talking, but then it gets referenced later by the two army guys, and he says, he's talking about getting married to her, and he says, they think any woman over 30 who isn't married is a lesbian. She figures they'll be so relieved that I'm a man. And then Cliff says, I like this line. "Yeah, it's always heartwarming to see a prejudice defeated by a deeper prejudice." Yeah,
I mean that was very that reminded me of me. Sometimes my humor can be a little depressing and dark, and that's like something I would say that would make everybody go, "Fuck yeah, what a killer line, but what a bummer, man."
Yeah, who invited this guy?
Yeah, I can see myself delivering that line.
Oh
for sure.
man.
Let's see. Oh yeah, when they're fighting about the curriculum, the white woman, she says, listen, if you're talking about food and music and all, I have no problem with that. But when you start changing who did what to who, and then the teacher says, we're not changing anything. We're just trying to present a more complete picture. And then the white woman says, and that's what's got to stop.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously prescient in the times now and everything. But I like that that white woman is like pussyfooting around the whole time, and probably shouldn't use that word, but that's okay. But like eventually we learn what she really means by the end of this. Like, yeah, that's got to stop. We can't be teaching about the Mexican side of things, even though we are 90% Mexican.
Right. Yeah. And then, like I said, yeah, just I love how these little scenes that don't match the plot, speak to the theme, and then the plot speaks to the theme as well. That's great.
Yeah. At the end of the movie, when they're like, what are you going to do? Like, you going to tell on us? You going to, what are you going to say about the murder? And Sam says, Buddy's a goddamn legend. He can handle it. Like, everybody thinking that Buddy killed him. So I like that.
Yeah. Minnie Bledsoe, actually, when he introduces himself, says, I'm Sheriff Deeds. And she says, Sheriff Deeds is dead, honey. You just Sheriff Jr.
I like that. Minnie Bledsoe's a baller. I love her.
And he goes, and again, because Chris Cooper's like an unflappable cowboy in this movie, he goes, yeah, that's the story of my life.
I don't think I have anything else. We already talked about the Forget the Alamo one, and I already said the one about if I met you for the first time today, I'd still want to be with you. That's
good. I liked when Pilar's talking to her children, and her daughter says, it's pathetic to be in love at 14 if you have half a brain. You can't be desperately in love when you're 14 unless you're stupid. And her mom says, of course you can. It's got nothing to do with being smart.
Yeah.
All right. So there are a bunch I'm going to read in a row because they're all, I'm just going to describe how like the theme is spoken out loud, because this isn't all of them by characters in the movie. You have Chucho Montoya when he goes to the Tire King, who's a pretty great character that you only get to see once. But he says, step across this line. You're not the sheriff of nothing anymore. You're just some Tejano with a lot of questions I don't have to answer. A bird flying south. You think he sees this line? Rattlesnake, javelina, whatever you got. You think halfway across that line, they start thinking different? Why should a man? Then you have Otis saying, there's not enough of us, meaning black people in town, to run anything in this town. It's the Holiness Church or Big O's. And his son says, and the people make a choice. But then Otis says, most of them choose both. You see, there's not like a borderline between the good people and the bad people. You're not either on one side or the other. And then bartender Cody says, we're in a state of crisis. The lines of demarcation are getting fuzzy. To run a successful civilization, you have got to have your lines of demarcation between right and wrong, between this and that. And so everybody's like talking in a way that is relevant to the scene, but just keeps saying like has this existential question about why these lines exist between us and whether they're everything or nothing, you know?
It's unique. It's unique that, we compare this kind of to like a Coen Brothers movie, when the Coen Brothers movies are very like, there is good and there is evil.
Well, the Coen Brothers are very apolitical.
Yeah.
Like that's okay. I mean, I'm a very political creature, but like the Coen Brothers, I think, have no politics in their movies almost whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
They find things interesting, and so you can kind of like get hints by what they choose to show and do. But this movie is deeply political.
Yes, but like it is very much like, here's our good guy, here's our bad guy. Mm-hmm. This is God, this is the devil, kind of thing. But they do have this collection of characters that are always tiptoeing the line. And this one is constantly telling you like, hey, we're all kind of mixed and bad people and good people at the same time. Mm-hmm. So, while it is very Coen-esque, it is its own little thing here.
Yeah. And this movie, one of the reasons that made me so feel so joyous about loving this movie so much is that it's a good example of how you can make political movies about diversity not preachy and annoying and cringe.
Yeah.
Like, this is an extremely moving movie with like real people in it, and they're all complicated, and it's not it's not a beating you over the head with a worldview that you have to follow, which I think is like good to give the kids to teach them good things about the world. But obviously, like, we are having a backlash against those ideas in our world right now, and the Disneyfied like let's get it in the box office, have a good weekend, and then forget about this movie version of showing those lessons is annoying, you know, at least.
Very true. Any other lines?
No.
Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill?
Let's see. No.
Yeah, I really only had like Bunny, and I was like, that's not even that funny of a scene because like Bunny is a unwell person, and so you're really just supposed to, you know, feel bad in that situation. While she is kind of, you know, crazy and everything.
Yeah, but she's written to be funny.
It's a very sweet moment.
You see Chris Cooper being sweet with her. She's safe. Nobody's hurting her and screening her.
She's doing very well for herself. She's all right.
Yeah, right. So you're allowed to chuckle a little bit. Yeah, I just had that and the Spanish thing. And then the thrills are the big scenes we talked about.
Most ridiculous moment, WTFs.
I mentioned the poster. The only other thing I really wrote down was they're at the dedication of his father's monument, and Sam sees Pilar, and he goes, well, I don't know what you're laughing. I'm not sure if you're laughing at what I'm going to say. But anyways, Sam sees Pilar, is like, hey, you want to come over here and talk to me real quick? And then all of a sudden they're at the riverbank.
Like, that's not what I was laughing about. It is the revealing of the like not statue. What is that? What are those frescoes? Or
a relief?
Yeah, relief. Yeah, of him like with his arm around a kid. And at first I was like, is that supposed to be Chris Cooper? Like, as him? But then I feel like I heard somebody in the background say that was him with his arm around a Mexican boy walking him. I feel, it was really weird.
That is a good what the fuck moment because the monument is silly. But that shows the low budget too. I mean, you can't be like needing props like that if you don't have any money. But I just thought it was funny that she's on lunch break to see she on her break at lunch as a teacher went to go see the monument dedication and then just has a quick jaunt over to the edge of the river. From the center of town, like how close could that be?
I feel like the river is just close to everybody.
Yeah,
it has to be. The other thing in that scene, right before that scene, you hear the guy with the enormous cheeks and the cigarette voice talking, like, and then he's like, "They got Martin Luther Kings all over, and why can't we have this one thing?"
Little courthouse.
He sounds like the coach from Major League. That guy. Who Alyssa referred to, it looks like a guy wearing a Kevin Spacey mask.
That's true. That's really good. Yeah. You're about the guy in Lone Star, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look like that.
Which I thought was very funny. Best music moment. I'm sure
there's some decent music in it. I really love the song My Love Is by Little Willie John. That was used in like a montage.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite. There's some like very Coen-y moments where like we cut to just like some nondescript but like very colorful like Tejano music or whatever over like a montage of looking at receipts, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
nothing amazing, but it was pretty good.
The dancing scene is the one I had. Just that song Desde Que Conozco. That one stuck out to me. And then I really like the end credits. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. I love it.
Which it's very funny, the end credits, because it comes right after that final scene.
Yeah.
And it's just like, forget the Alamo. We're gonna be together even if we're related. And then it just cuts to this upbeat.
I want to be a cowboy sweetheart.
I was like, well, I guess you are, babe. You're a cowboy, lots of things.
Yeah. I want to be a cowboy's brother. I didn't come up with an F, Marry, Kill. I couldn't come up with anything. I didn't get anything good.
You didn't pick the 3 races?
I told Alyssa, I was like, what am I gonna do? Black, Mexican, and Anglo. So no. Who gave the best?
That's an easy one, and we won't talk about it.
Who gave the best performance in the movie?
Honestly, Chris Christopherson was amazing.
Yeah, I like him. I went with Chris Cooper. I'm just obsessed with him, especially after I watched Page One this year. I liked him a lot,
and he knew to keep it like low here, and did a great job. Nobody else is an amazing actor. Pilar is kind of interesting. I don't know what to think about her like accent or voice, but it's unique. but it keeps her from like doing much. But yeah, I don't know. It's like an ensemble thing going on. So there's almost everybody feels like it's too small a character to be the best.
I really love Joe Morton, the Colonel. I like him, and anytime I see him pop up in something, I'm always like, "You're great. Why aren't you in more things?"
Well, he's perfectly cast because he has this straight backed, like stiff demeanor. And he has like these kind of big wet eyes that like underneath, like, so they're perfect for this role where like he's a very serious, strict person, but you can tell there's a soul in there that has lots of feelings, you know?
Yeah, he became like more of a TV actor after this. I know he was in that Scandal show for a while. He was on the show Eureka, which was on Sci-Fi Network for years.
Oh, really?
Wonderful in that show, but it's kind of a silly show.
Otis was good too.
Yeah, he's good. Anytime I see that guy pop up, and he is a guy that I'm just like, hey, he's in another movie I've seen.
Yeah, the one-offs are great. Gordon Tutusis does Wesley Birdsong. He was awesome. I didn't write down the Tire King guy, but he's awesome.
I didn't pick up until you called him the Tire King guy that I don't, and maybe I don't know if this is a connection at all, but the reason why he escaped was when they blew a tire on that road.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, he ends up becoming the Tire King. So
yeah, right. It's like mythological. Like he's making sure there's never a flat tire again.
Exactly. So that's until you called him the Tire King, I was like, I don't know. Recasting. I know we talked about this a little bit about 96 and stuff. Anybody for 2026?
For 26, as Sheriff Wade, I've got Mr. Brolin.
Ooh.
I think it'd be perfect. Old, but you can still do it.
McConaughey, put him in there too.
Yeah, honestly, Buddy was kind of hard. Buddy's easy because it's like the four people we always say.
Yeah.
It's like Austin Butler, it's Wyatt,
Wyatt Russell,
Wyatt Russell, Glenn Powell.
It's
the
Glenn
same
Powell.
guys. Yeah.
I was like, man, I do not want to cast Glenn Powell in this movie, but he'd be a great Buddy Deeds.
He does belong in this movie.
Yeah, because Glenn Powell is not a lead, he needs to be a side character.
Well, and I kind of think that he looks like a douchebag, but everybody loves him, so he play a good role of like, is he good or is he bad? Yeah, because you kind of like him, but he kind of like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, so I agree with you there.
With Otis, I had to throw another nod to our boy Delroy Lindo, our new mascot for 52 Slash. Would be a great Otis, but also I thought Danny Glover would do good.
Ooh, is Danny Glover still alive?
No, he's not.
Oh, that's a
remembered
bummer.
That. I forgot that when I wrote it down.
That's a bummer. It
was recent. He was alive a couple years ago.
Yeah,
right? He just died recently. I forgot about that.
I just realized the woman that plays Pilar, he is still alive. Danny Glover is. Yeah.
Oh, he must have gotten sick then. I kind of remember.
I think he's blind.
Oh, something like
that. Or something. Yeah. Or he has dementia. One of those. Blind or dementia. Maybe both. Pilar passed away in like 2010.
Yeah, she was young, and it was like, I don't know if it was alcoholism, but it was cirrhosis of the liver.
Cirrhosis of the liver, yeah.
That was very sad, yeah.
What about
I had your boy Damson Idra as Delmore.
Ooh, yeah, that guy's good.
And then I finally couldn't. It's hard to cast Chris Cooper, and that the only one I could come up with that I think is pretty decent is Adam Driver.
I would love that. That's
he's
good.
Sad and quiet,
and not a conventionally attractive man.
Yeah, that's the best I could do, and I think that's pretty decent. But I struggled for 96 with him because I had Gary Oldman or William H. Macy,
Yeah, Salma Hayek for Senora Cruz.
Oh, I didn't do Senora Cruz. That would be great.
Yeah.
She would kill it. I'm thinking about Penelope Cruz and what is it, Voltaire, where she owns a diner.
Oh God, Voltaire,
what a good movie,
great movie. Ugh, that'd be good. And then I had Isa Gonzalez as Pilar. I was trying to go, find.
Oh, that's Isa Gonzalez.
Yeah,
nice.
I was trying to find somebody that's like actually Mexican.
Well, actually, I kind of learned that a lot of like the young, most popular actresses right now are Latina, but they don't like present Latina or necessarily do Latina roles, right? Mm-hmm. America Ferrera still looks too young, but I love her and everything, so it's kind of hard to put her in either of those roles, Pilar or Senora Cruz. But yeah, Ana de Armas, Big Eyes, like there's a lot of like I'll never remember her name. She's just Big Eyes.
Is Big Eyes Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but none of them are like Latina presenting. I don't mean that to be rude. In their lives, I'm sure they are what they are. But like as a public figure or celebrity.
Anya
So yeah,
Taylor-Joy.
Iceland Gonzalez was the best I could find, and thought it was
Yeah.
a good one.
Anya Taylor-Joy is just baffling to me as a human being. Like, I don't know who, because I feel like she's supposed to have a British accent. She was raised in like Argentina and
Yeah.
didn't speak English until she was like 10.
Which is
But she
crazy.
speaks like a perfect American accent. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. She's
And
weird.
looking at a person isn't supposed to make you uncanny valley. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like a robot. That's a real person, and it's weird.
She's great though.
I do like it.
Any other recasting?
96 Otis, Larry Fishburne,
Ooh.
or James Avery. I said it would be actually good.
James
uh,
Avery.
Uncle Phil,
Man.
yeah.
That's good. There's a fun fact around Otis and his son in this, and I don't know if you saw that, but switching over to that, Joe
Oh,
Morton,
that he's younger.
he's older. Yeah, I was about to say Otis is younger than his son in this movie. By 18
I
months.
did see that, and it made the recasting both harder and easier. Like I was like, okay, well, I can play with these ages a little bit
Yeah.
because the movie obviously did. Oh, back in '96, though, you mentioned Tommy Lee Jones. I thought he could have done the Wade role.
Oh yeah,
the Chris Christopherson role in '96.
Watching what was that
Because
movie
Wade
that
can
you
be like anywhere in 20 years of age. Like he doesn't have to be a certain age, really.
Yeah. After watching Cobb, I know you just recently watched that terrible movie Cobb, but like Tommy Lee Jones is a super dick in that movie. He could be a Charlie
God,
Wade,
yeah.
real easy.
And it's still not as much of a dick as Ty Cobb was in his real life.
Yeah. Man, Cobb's a bad one.
Bad one.
I feel bad for that one.
That's all I got.
Any fun facts that you found?
There are a few. Oh yeah, I mean this is kind of a funny one. At the drive-in, when young Sam and Pilar are torn apart by Matthew McConaughey, the movie they're there to see is an exploitation film called Black Mama, White Mama, which is foreshadowing to the fact that she's of mixed heritage and doesn't know it yet.
I'm trying to tell you something. I had the one about the drive-in that there wasn't a drive-in theater there, so they spent $50,000 to construct a drive-in, a terrible-looking drive-in for the scene or whatever.
I think it looks great. It looks terrible, but like
Yeah.
I think it's a really good set piece. But yeah, they spend way too much money on that.
$50,000 to do it for one scene, and then as they were wrapping everything, they would screen their dailies on the screen.
Oh, nice.
So they got some use out of it.
They even had I guess they just got a projector out there too.
Yeah. So that was.
Oh, they needed. There's two scenes, right?
Yeah, there's two scenes because there's the like broken down version
Yeah.
of the drive-in, and then there's the nice drive-in.
Oh, honestly, I think that's it. We've talked about the rest of them.
Yeah. Same here. It didn't really come with a lot. I even tried to, go a little deeper and research. Just not a lot. Just one of those quiet movies that goes under the radar and nobody talks about. But if you were to pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
So there are obvious ones we've mentioned. Some other obvious ones, like we mentioned One Battle and Fargo, but like Sinners makes sense.
Mhm.
Crash makes sense.
Yeah. Which
but
one? The sex one?
No, not the sex one. Not the sex one. You can't pair that with anything. What did you guys end up? I think I watched that episode of 50 Years. I don't know what you paired it with.
I can't remember.
Yeah. But the interesting one that I think you'll like, because I always associate this movie with you, is The Last Picture Show. I almost thought that was the last shot being the drive-in would be a kind of nod to that somehow. But that movie isn't quite about the same exact things, but it is about a small town and everybody's past and history and what they're hung up on and what they need to get past. Gorgeous movie, and it's like a small Texas town, I think. So
yeah, small Texas. I had that one down as well. Small Texas town. There's a secret that we didn't even know we were going to learn about this, and who's dad, and all this. Like there is like a mythic thing about this, and the Texas town again. Another movie that doesn't really like. That's not like glorifying it. It is like the sad rundown town that, we know everybody in and everybody knows everybody's business the whole time. Like having just watched that movie, like you find out the whole town knows that this kid is having an affair with his teacher's wife on the side. Man,
Yeah.
that movie's so good. I think it pairs so well with this movie.
It,
And,
it pairs really well and better than all the other ones we've talked about. They're both like 5 out of 5. Like, so that makes it a good pairing too. These are both really, really good movies.
yeah. The only other ones that I had listed were Blood Simple, which you had mentioned earlier, and then Hell or High Water, which is a Taylor Sheridan who kind of owns like Texas now for all of his Yellowstone. Yeah, Hell or High Water is a really good movie. Now it's a little bit more actiony. Jeff Bridges is kind of your sheriff in that movie, who's trying to catch the robbers and stuff, but has to deal with like poverty and living in small town Texas and having to defend, their sick mother and all this. It's very Western-esque. So,
right. Well, this movie's so referential to types of movies and styles. It's a commentary on genre, as I think the movie is too. So then you can also like dig deep into any of these genres and find lots of movies that overlap with Lone Star.
And even like thinking of the diner scene with the shots there, that gives me Wong Kar-wai vibes a little bit.
Yes, yeah. I was trying to think where have I seen this exact image before? But it probably is like a Wong Kar-wai movie.
Which, I mean, you want to watch it with a Wong Kar-wai movie like Chungking or something like that, or in the Mood for Love? Go for it. I think it.
What's his name? Joon-ho, Parasite.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of movies in his repertoire that are also about like communities and secrets and stuff like that. I think. I bet there's actually a lot of Japanese cinema that with these themes that kind of would overlap.
Yeah, I agree. So a lot of good movies pair with this movie really well.
Yeah.
So that leads us into our next one. How likely are you to throw this one on again?
I put 4 out of 5. It could go lower only because it's long and heady. But I want to rewatch it. I will rewatch this movie 100% again in my life. I'm going to. So like it deserves a really high rating, but it isn't the kind of comfort I could watch this every Sunday afternoon for the rest of my life kind of movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think 4 is probably the highest that it could go in a rewatch. But yes, it is a great movie. I own it now. So I've committed to watching this movie again, and I always enjoy movies that aren't coming up in the coming years, like a 97 movie or 98 movie, because I'm like, I don't want to watch it yet because I'll just end up watching it next year.
That's
and I don't want to do that. So now I can finally, be back to normal in this movie.
Yeah.
So out of overall rating, what do you have for this movie?
Yeah, very comfortable 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I agree.
It's great. It's the best movie I've seen in a long time. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. It's 5 stars for me too. So and that's it. We did it. Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out with me, talking movies with me, as always. But before we wrap up, you got any movie recommendations? You did the 31 Days of July random movie thing. I'm sure you saw some winners in there. Is there anything else anything that you've seen out of those that you loved or want to share?
No, I've forgotten all of those already. I don't even remember what I watched. That's how movies go with me. I don't know. We had a good discussion on the Discord. Make sure you join the 52/Discord. We had some good discussion about Jodorowsky. We both watched some Jodorowsky movies. I saw a couple. That was interesting. The one I was going to talk about though, is I actually went to the theater to see Hadestown, the filmed production of the Hadestown musical, which was live in theater for only 5 days, but I think now it's going to have an extended release.
Yeah.
And it's so good to see a Broadway level musical that was performed for being filmed and have a high quality and legal way to see what the stage production's like. It's such a nice thing. I hope that industry does more and more of that. But they brought the original cast back from 10 years ago, and they were able to put on a show that said, hey, this is for filming. So audience and live audience, you might get a camera in your way sometimes, deal with it, which allowed a lot more creativity in shots and seeing people in the back. And it's my first full experience of Hadestown, which is an amazing musical. So I was kind of blown away by that.
I do want to see that one. There's a couple of those that are out now that have released. So just like, I think probably with the boom of like Hamilton and Disney, putting that out on Disney Plus and stuff, I've seen Waitress. That's been filmed.
I haven't seen Waitress yet, but we've seen it live and I love the movie. So it's on our list. Me and Sage, I think, are about to be in an era of like, hey, let's once a week watch a filmed musical because we loved it.
Merrily We Roll Along, I think, is on Netflix or something. The one filmed with Daniel Radcliffe and
Oh, okay. That's
so
supposed to be like a movie next year. Maybe I was thinking of that though. I thought it was in the future.
gosh, what's his name? Richard Linklater is filming.
Yes, that's right.
Is filming Merrily We Roll Along, but it won't come out until like 2050 something or 2040 something, because he's doing the psychotic Richard Linklater thing where he's like,
I respect it. I made the joke off.
He's awesome.
He's amazing.
But yeah, he
That's
is
what I was
doing
thinking
that.
of.
Yeah. But the filmed version of the stage production is out there streaming somewhere. So
I'd like to see that. Yeah,
definitely want to.
There's a lot of good ones. I always recommend the Company one. Sage said she found a streaming service. I don't know what's on there. I love the old 80s Into the Woods. That's actually how I got into musicals.
The Bernadette Peters one?
Yeah. A teacher showed in a like drama 1 class I was taking in my senior year of high school. She was like, we're just going to watch a couple plays today or whatever. And we watched Cat in a Hot Tin Roof and but a stage version, and then the Into the Woods. And that's how I was like, man, I think I like musicals.
Yeah. I love that. Company, my love for Company comes from you. And you introducing that musical to me, and I made Alyssa watch the Neil Patrick Harris version.
Yeah, that's
of
what
it,
I'm talking about. It's really good.
A couple years ago, and it's so good. Love Company, and I thank you for Company. So it's great. I caught up. I've been trying to catch up on like 2026 movies. So I watched The Obsession, which was really
I haven't
fun.
seen any of them. I've heard about it.
The drama is really good with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya in it. And very funny, and was not what I had no idea what it was about going in. But I would be curious to see how you feel about the drama.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that one yet. Did you see the trailer that just dropped for primetime?
Yes.
We're talking about it. Everybody's hyped about it. It's going to be crazy.
Robert Pattinson coming back. He's just putting out a banger year this year.
Yeah, you can do no wrong these days.
My biggest recommendation right now is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
It's on my list. Is it really good? Everybody says it is.
Yes, and you can watch the Nirvana, the band, the show on Hulu before you watch the movie. But then you can also watch their web series, which was like 10 years prior to their actual show, on some website that hosts all of them on there. So that's what I'm working my way. I actually did this in the wrong order. I watched the movie first, then I watched the series, and now I'm watching the web series. So I did this
going backwards.
Completely wrong order, but it was still super fun. A laugh out loud. Seriously, there are times where I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, well, I know I've been watching a lot of like Francois Truffaut lately, so I could use a break.
I watched The Seventh Seal and loved it. That was a surprise to me.
Yeah. Seven Seal's great.
And then I watched the terrible.
We're watching it right now.
Yes. I was scared I was gonna hate it because I was like, "Oh, you got that tattoo," and I was like, "No."
I got the tattoo, and I love the tattoo, and I love the shot. Seven Seal's not my favorite movie or anything. It's just
it's a badass shot. That's a cool shot.
It's a cool shot, and it's more a tattoo that expresses my love for old movies than it is anything else. So,
the Masters of the Universe movies, not bad.
I thought the trailers, as much as like they're designed for a person like me to go, ugh, Marvel again. Every time I saw one of the trailers, I was like, I want to see that. That looks cool.
Yeah, it's silly and it knows it's dumb, and I think that's what makes it like I don't think anybody's taking that movie seriously.
Good, yeah.
So that's it. That's all I've got. I watched a lot recently, so. That's it, guys. Well, and like Ryan said, if you want to join that conversation, do some of our little 31 challenges that we throw out there every once in a while. You can do that in Discord. Follow us on Instagram. See when we're going to be streaming next. I always put my face on somebody's body in those posters, so those are fun. And then also my letterbox is out there on that link tree. So do follow us wherever you want. And next week, we're going to be continuing the theme of Cody's Choice, where every movie is a pick I made because I wanted to. And we're going to be doing a movie that probably not a lot of people know about, but it's called Big Night, starring Stanley Tucci and Tony Shalhoub, about two brothers opening up a restaurant for Louis Prima. It's going to be great.
That sounds
awesome. I love this movie. And we'll do that next Sunday at 5 p.m. But other than that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on 52/1996. Hit them with it.
Be nice to women.
Be nice to women, as always. Thank you.
We spun the reel through desert storms and courtroom cries. Love letters burned, planes went down, truth hid behind the lies. From snowbound crimes in Fargo streets to agents running wires, we laughed with Gilmore, screamed in masks lit, theaters on fire. It's fix, let the credit